Hello, this is stream number 44. Been working on a web server written in C++ from scratch, I should say. And we got our web server up and running. And let's go look at it at rymu.com/static/index. If we go there now, we see RallyMonkey's already there. And let's see if I can beat him to this question. 87. Yep, got a point there. Sorry, RallyMonkey. Anyway, we just got our web server with our little chat room with our math quiz built in, up and running on the internet on Amazon Web Services. And over the weekend, the server did actually crash. It's some kind of probe or hack attempt. So it made me think that I really want to go ahead and add some logging for two reasons. I want to see when it does get probed, what the probes look like, and in the case of a crash, I want to see exactly what kind of message or situation caused it to crash, if it was a message. It's possible that the web server might be crashing just because of a race condition I haven't found yet. Anyway, and before I do that, I wanted to make a plugin just for diagnostic purposes that I can use to go to the server and have it send me back my own request headers. Sort of already something that's should be built into Chrome in the developer tools, but I kind of want to see all the way end to end. And it'll be another plugin that we can have fun with. So after I write that, my plan today is to add logging to the server. So we're going to log every request and response, depending on if it's good or bad. If it's a good request, I think I just want to log things like the time, the IP address, the URI, status code, and the lengths and types of the bodies of request and response. If it's a bad request, because it might not be a well-formed request in the first place, I want to just show the time, IP address, and the first number of bytes that I want to be able to configure into the request. So I'm going to use this logging to try to troubleshoot and also see what kind of probes I'm getting hit with. Bad thing is that I have no idea who's probing the website or if they will ever probe again. If so, when. So I kind of have to set it up and then just kind of wait for it to happen. And then something I thought to add is in response to these probes, we want to do something like close the connection and temporarily block or blacklist the IP addresses of clients who issue bad requests, since you should never get a bad request from a legitimate browser. So what we'll do is we'll have a blacklist based on IP address, and there'll be an initial blacklisting period, like 30 seconds or something. But then every time the client sends another bad request, they'll get the cooldown, so to speak, will get doubled. And so, and during the cooldown period, I don't think I wrote this, but during blacklisting period, a couple things, right? Immediately close any incoming connection from the IP address. Actually, that's exactly what, that's the one and only thing we want to do. We immediately close any incoming connection. But after the cooldown or blacklisting period ends, we will... Actually, let me think about this. We want to double it on every bad request. But if we're immediately closing, we don't know if it's a bad request. So I guess what happens is after... Let's say after blacklisting period, IP address will be on probation. So during the probation period, we double the blacklisting period upon a bad request. Have a return to blacklist and double the blacklisting period upon a bad request. And on probation, accept connection. Good request. Actually, it's sort of built into this next thing. Good request removes IP address from probation. We'll have to see. I don't know how probes exactly work, but the one I saw that happened right before the server crashes, a huge sequence of bad requests. If it's possible that a probe or a hack could go from a bad request to a good one, which in my scheme would take it off the blacklist. And if I see that behavior, then I'll have to rethink this. My guess is that these probes are just sending random junk or pre-formatted messages that are targeted at certain bugs or exploits in other web services. So our server should just see them as bad requests and just drop them. And maybe what we'll put in also, let's say it could be a bad request or too many requests. We'll have to define what too many means. Upon a bad request or too many requests. Actually, it's either going to be good or bad, right? On probation, we're waiting for a good or a bad. Actually, let's say good request, not too frequent, removes IP from probation after some probation period. So we'll have to define the probation period and what too frequent means and all that. So this might be the only thing I'll work on today because it's sort of elaborate. If we get to it, I want to add also the ability to have multiple spaces for our static content plugin. The reason for that is right now, if I go to our configuration, I can show you. We're putting everything under static, including the web app. So I kind of wanted to clean this up a bit and maybe have like different areas. So we might have static for truly static content, and then you might think of like a slash app or something, or slash apps, where we would put our chat room app. Right now, we only have one space at the top level of the static content plugins configuration. And if we get to it, there's a load of fixes and improvements to chat room to look into. So there's some build warnings. I want to make a production build, right? Because right now, when we build it, I'll show you that. It makes the compiled or built or packaged JavaScript. It also makes this huge map file, which is very long. It's extremely long, and it has the names of all of our code files. So I think this is I also think if we loaded our, we turn on our developer tools, I bet we would see that it says it's not a production build. That's interesting. Why did it put it there? I want to show it on the bottom. There we go. Oh, that's right. I should have put this in the announcement. The other thing that happened over the weekend was I had a main hard drive crash. Spent most of Saturday reinstalling Windows and all my apps. So one of the things that we lost was the dev tools for Chrome, so I need to reinstall those. Hey, Rather Monkey, is it possible to detect if a chat room participant using mobile or desktop browser? So they remind me of something else. So it's not very mobile friendly. Make mobile friendly. If you try to go to this chat room app right now on mobile, it's all jumbled and the space isn't set up right. To answer your question, if the web browser participates and says the correct thing, then yes, but they could always lie. So the server doesn't really know for sure what browser you're using, whether it's mobile or not. But if the browser is cooperative and truthful, then yeah, it's one of the headers that we get. So I wanted to go and load. Actually, there was something you can download here, correct? I can't remember now. React Chrome extension. I think that was it. You need to get this back in. I don't want to sign in. Did I get it? Okay, there we go. Oh, I am using a production builder of React. Okay, so maybe what I'm seeing here, this map file, I just shouldn't be putting on the server. Maybe we only need the JS file. Probably go remove that off the server. Let me go do that. Rolling. Can't show this on stream because it reveals my IP address, but I'm just going to where I've downloaded the web app. And I'm removing the map files because they're kind of big and I don't think they're actually needed. Interesting, this looks like 3 different versions of it. Every time we build the app, we get different versions, apparently. The map files and the CSS aren't so big. Alright. Sorry, I was just removing files off the server that we don't need. What's this error that we're getting? I don't know what that is. Register service worker. What are we doing there? Line 80. We're getting an error. Oh, probably because I have not set our site's URL correctly. Where was that set up? I don't remember now. Package.json. Probably this thing, right? When I build it, I should probably put the actual homepage in here. What if I do that? No, if I do that now. Yes, I need to learn how to do this. I want to have a different homepage if I'm testing versus production. I need to research that. Let me add this as a research topic. Add it here, I guess. React. How to set up app differently for development versus production. So I'm going to make a new page here for that. I'm going to say questions. How do we... Here they're not saying. Time to get some points in while friggin' math genius Alice isn't here. Yeah. Okay, so I want to know, how do we set homepage in package.json differently? Dev versus prod. I'm sure there's a way, I just need to look it up. Okay, so I didn't really get through the plan completely, did I? Right, I was going to look at build warnings. I think we are making a production build, so I don't need to put that in the plan. We will strike that off. Yeah, so some of the ideas that came through were put a timestamp on all the tells. Have like an extra point if you can answer it in base 2. Show a lurker count, which might be interesting to see how many people have connected in but haven't picked a nickname. And then I was thinking of like what should we do if no one's chatting? So we can have MathBot 2000 provide the answer, perhaps get grumpy or sad or irritated if no one answers the questions. And then we could have alternate wordings of, whenever someone scores correctly or incorrectly. I think Rally Monkey or someone else suggested a little tone when the new question's posted. And then this came up as it doesn't look great on mobile. And there's some other things. I think I have some notes somewhere else about it, but there's plenty of things to do. I don't want to get carried away in the chat room because eventually I want to move on to setting up transport layer security. I want to get into LibreSSL and get that included in our project and then using that. And I want to basically turn this from not secure to secure. Actually, I'm not connected. Someone connected? Oh, Night Zane's connected. Oh, another thing is I wanted to make this, I forgot, keep forgetting to add that to the list. I want to make the chat window as, I actually want to do that pretty soon. Make a chat window fill up vertical space. Because right now it's only picking a small area here. So, oh, 27, that's 98. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, anyway, let me post that link to anyone who might be watching. You don't have to participate, but if you want to, it's up live and running right now, at least the last version. I do want to make some automation so I can quickly update the website. So yeah, the plan this stream, I was going to go back into the server to do some extra logging and try to counter some of the probing that I got over the weekend on the web server. But then if we get through that, then I'll move back to the React. So let me start off with this thing. I wanted to make a small little plugin that'll echo back requests. And we should be able to put this live on the web server without it needing to be taken down. So actually, that's not true because the server's config file, that's another thing in here we need to do. The server's config file here, we could add a section for the new plugin, but the live web server won't pick it up until we restart it. So one of the things I wanted to do, I didn't put it on the plan for today, but I want the web server to dynamically reload its configuration if the config file changes. Okay, so let's make this echo plugin. So we'll be making a new directory under web server. Close all this stuff. We'll make a new directory here called echo plugin. Is there an easy way to detect if a participant is in the process of inputting text? I suppose we could. It would involve sending messages. So if I show this again, I suppose I have to reload, don't I? If we're looking at the chat frames here, we would have to, like if I just guess something, that's odd. How do we resize this part? Ah, here we go. So right now it only sends something when you type a number, right? It's right here. The green ones send. I could have it send a WebSocket message every time you type something, but that would be a lot more messages going from the client to the server. So I could do it, but let me put that out as an idea. Message on every key press, or maybe bundle of key presses in a certain time period. So like others know that you're typing. Yeah, we can certainly do that. It would be more messages from the browser to the server, though. All right, so in Echo plugin, let's take the static plugin and just copy it. We're going to take it and then paste it into Echo plugin and change the names around. Echo plugin. And in the web server, we'll have to pull in Echo plugin. And then I think I had in my staging right? We have a line for each plugin. Move this stuff around so it's Echo plugin. And then the Windows version. Okay. Okay, so here are the unit tests. Then I don't think we need SHA-1, so we're going to remove that out. Don't think we need SHA-1. We use SHA-1 in static content plugin to calculate entity tags. But this Echo plugin is going to be very simple. It's just going to generate, it's going to be a dynamic content. It'll be spitting back at you the headers of your own message. Yeah, Echo plugin. Designed to generate an HTML page that just tells you what was in your own request headers. All right. Rename it there. So now I can go to this shell and type cmake dot. That I shouldn't have seen. I think it's because I installed Python in the wrong place initially. So let me go cmake GUI and I will fix that. I want to show advanced and then find where it says Python. So yeah, we need to fix this. I put it in the default C program files, but then there's a space in there and I had trouble with that on Cygwin. So, okay, so I hit configure, generate, and we're done. Okay. Visual Studio, reload. So we should see plugins there and then tests there. So let's build some tests. I'm going to always ignore that suggestion from Visual Studio. And okay, my zooming isn't right. How much do I usually zoom in? About that level? All right. Oh, that didn't get saved. Let me save that. Oh, I didn't even change it. Let's change it. All right. We don't need SHA-1. We're not interested in time. Do we need the timekeeper for some reason? I don't think I need the timekeeper here. Oh, we did need a timekeeper. Just in case, yeah. Just in case the plugin asks for the timekeeper, we need to provide one. Don't expect it to need one though. Okay. So yeah, this is a common fixture here for all of our tests, and it has a mock time, there's a mock server and a mock timekeeper in it, I think. Oh no, we don't. Why don't we? Wouldn't it make more sense if we moved the server into the fixture? Okay, all my settings are messed up. Well, maybe not. Maybe they aren't. What happened here? I was typing. Yeah, it auto completed my comment like that confused me. So let me fix this. Options, editor. C++. Would be formatting or advanced formatting. I don't like automatic format or blocks. I don't want it to indent when I paste. Don't format braces. Okay. I'm probably going to have to set all this indentation stuff up again, aren't I? Okay. Yep. Actually, these are actually all good. Wish I could. Oh, I can make it taller. That's nice. I can't make that split different though. We actually might be good the way it is. Let's give it a try. So I don't like it auto completing. It's still doing it. Thought I turned that off. Okay, it's here somewhere. Yeah, probably that one. Please don't autocomplete. There we go. I wish I could teach it to indent that though. I don't think there's an option for that. This is the, let me move my mic closer. Wait. This is a mock, a web server. This is used to simulate the web server hosting plugin. Right, so I'm going to remove mock server from all the places. Okay, now what test do we want to have? A load test? None of these. Let's replace this test, repurpose it. It will be echo headers. That's all that we expect the plugin to do anyway. So when it loads, it doesn't need doesn't really need any of this stuff, does it? It needs a space, because that's how it's going to hook into the web server. Doesn't need a root. A bunch of this stuff is redundant, so let's build this in. I'm surprised it didn't do this in the other test. Maybe we did it in the chat room test, though. Okay, we did. So let's copy it. I think it was this initial, no, not that one. I think it was this thing. We don't need a test area, actually. We can remove all that stuff. Just copy this over. So have a constant path here. This is the path in the server which to place the plugin. Yes, just echo. We don't need any of this other stuff. Okay, yeah. Diagnostic messages, we need that. This guy. Vector and string, do we have that? Nope. Vector and string. All right. And we need system abstraction string extensions for the formatting. Unload delegate. What was the unload delegate? Aha. We have an unload delegate. I'm gonna remove the type of plugin there. Just say plugin. Okay. Does tear down calls the unload delegate. Yes, so we should do the same thing. Okay. So load, probably this load doesn't do much either, right? So it just does this. Expect that it gets registered under echo. Okay. So echo headers. Right, so we're gonna make a request. And I believe it has to, yeah, okay. Yeah, let's do this. Do we have, is the method default to set? I mean to get? Doesn't, there is no default. We should do that. Or does it matter? Do we care what method is sent? Maybe not, huh? Let's set some headers. Let's say xfoo is bar. X hello is world. What's that second parameter? Oh, it's a connection. So we don't care. The plugin isn't going to care about the connection object. And we're not testing with the trailer. Okay, so that's what we want. So what do we expect back? Expect for 200 for the status code, I guess. And I suppose what I want it to send back is some HTML that somewhere inside the HTML it has those headers. So maybe what we'll do is we'll use a regular expression for that. So include regex. And then let me steal from where I've used this in the past. This kind of a thing. Steal there. Yeah, we use this match thing, right? Okay, it returns a boolean. Okay, let me look at the manual for this. CPP regex. Really, I want to look up regex match. Ah, right. So you can get back results, right? Which one of these? There's a match results. I don't want to use the first last. What is first last? Okay, yeah, I'm not using a iterator. Okay, here it's going to be a C++ string. So this number 4 here, I think. This is a very complicated type. String first, then match results, then regular expression. So, what, expect true? Standard regex match. The string first. Hold on, let me format this. String first, so that's response dot body. Actually, I guess we should expect text slash HTML for response headers, get header value, content type. Sorry about that. I should turn this ringer on my phone off. All right. Okay, then it's the pattern. No, the pattern's last. We put a match object. I think there was like a shortcut, S match. Yeah, S match. Match like that, right? And it took an address, a reference to it. Okay, so I'm going to look at some of the examples because they sort of show how to use it. Yeah, so S match, and then the first submatch is the whole string. The next submatch is the first, right? So I want some parenthesized expressions in there. And we need to work on this pattern. So let's say star dot. Is there a way that it doesn't match, but it's like search? Yeah, okay, there's a search one. Search is like some subsequence, whereas match is like entire string, right? That's not what I want. Match. Right, entire. So I want search, not match. Then I don't have a lead. Don't need a leading dot star. So somewhere in there, I will have TD, right? And then some values slash TD. TD and then some other values. And let's see. This will. Can I have it search more than once? We'll determine. Okay, that's match. And we're using which overload? Free, I think. I'm just wondering, how, can we tell it to keep going? In order to determine all matches, it may be called in a loop, restarting each time from m02nd of the previous call. Okay, so we can do it in a loop. Because what I want to do is have the response have like a table in it, and the table will have like header and then value. And I basically want to grab that back and make sure that these two are in it. So I kind of want to have this kind of a thing. Vector of pairs of strings. Rows. And then, how does this work? Regex iterator offers an easy interface to this iteration. Okay, so you do it inside of an if, I think. So basically that would be a while. Then we get back out match something. Let's see. Right, we want the subsequence. Yeah, I don't need this anymore. And I have that wrong. So that'll be 1 and that'll be 2. So it'll be rows.push back pair. Actually, can I just use this? I can say match 1, match 2. Okay, and then we will expect equal to rows dot, or we can actually just expect equal, right? Repeat this, whoops. Rows. So we'll expect 2 rows. Xfoo bar and x hello is world. Okay. And that's not true. So this should compile. Let's actually let's clear out the old contents of the of what we copied here. Design to generate, yeah, okay, I already put the comment in there. We don't need SHA-1. I don't think we need regex or file. Probably JSON? Maybe int types? Let's see. Alright, this is all standard boilerplate to determine the resource space we're serving. This stuff we don't need. I guess that means we don't need to capture anything. Right, we don't need any of this stuff yet. We do need to make a response though. So I guess for now we will just make a 404. And we will say, because it's a Twitch stream, feels bad man. Sound good? This should build, but just not pass our tests yet. You know, I'd be willing to pay for like something that'll keep my tea warm at my desk. Tea is already cold. Okay. Let's run the test. So it's web server echo plugin debug echo plugin tests. All right, so we're expecting 200, we get 404. We're expecting HTML, we get plain, and we get no matches. So let's go fix that. We will just return 200. Okay. Text HTML, right? In the body, we will put we'll just keep it the way it is. Actually, no, let's make it valid HTML. So it's like you need to have a doc type. How does that work? Doc type HTML or something? I have a copy of this somewhere. Maybe not. Really? No matches to HTML? Huh. I guess we don't have anywhere where we're actually generating an HTML document. Okay. Let's look at the test static content for that. I just hate to type this or have to memorize it. Yeah, so let's grab that and put it in here. So I'm going to kind of cheat and do this. Whoops. And then these need to be escaped. And we'll make an indented block here. Something like that. So that's valid HTML. It's still not going to match what we're expecting. Pick the title, Excalibur, echo. Request echo. But inside the body, we'll say, right now, feels bad, man. I'm just trying to get it progressively to pass one step at a time. So, it passed the OK check. It's passing the HTML check. It's just not returning the headers. So let's put that in. So what I want to kind of have, just something very simple, is just a table. And inside that have rows. So we did this the other day, didn't we? In the web client. Let me cheat. I'm kind of new at web stuff, so, or not really, not new, but my experience is way old, so I forgot a lot of stuff. So I kind of have to refer back to what I did the other day. I made a table, right? Okay, there's head and body. So inside the body, I kind of want to put there, really want to break that up. Plus the header. How about we'll call it report rows. And then for the head, we'll have a single row with two headers. One is header, and the other is, or th, the other is value. Then report rows we can construct. So we'll make that an O-string stream that we can just call str on it. What's the error? Incomplete type. Oh, probably because we need to include stream. Okay, now it's complete. And what I'm going to do is iterate through all the request headers. So for const.o Do we have a way to do this? I think so. It's like get all. It returns a vector of headers. Yes. So header dot, all right, name and value. So report rows plus equals system abstractions sprintf. Actually, I don't even need printf. It's going to be, again, constructing a string. It'll be tr td plus header dot name plus end that column begin another header dot value plus end that column end that row, right? Ah. Oh. Okay, I need to cast that to a string. There we go. And that one too. It doesn't, what if I just need to do that for all of these? Huh. I thought that's how you added to an O string stream. Oh, no, it's not. What am I thinking? It's a stream, so we stream out that, yes. So it kind of looks like this. Let's kind of pretty it up a little bit. Like that. Could even do that to make it even more pretty. Okay. Hopefully that will make everything pass. It won't be pretty, but aiming for functionality here. Okay, we got into an infinite loop. I guess the match isn't correct. So let me see what's going on there. Oh, I wonder if we're just not iterating this correctly. Well, anyway, set up that test to run in our debugger. Go. Running. You can see it's allocating more and more memory, so we'll pause it. And what are our lows? Ooh, lots of rows. Okay, it's doing the same one over and over again. Interesting. So it didn't match the correct things. It was too aggressive. I want to make that match the minimum amount. But anyway, it's repeating this search over and over again. That's what it's doing. So we have multiple problems here. So let's fix the first problem, which is this. I think it's question mark? No, it's not question mark. I need to look it up. So not an expert in regular expressions, so I must look it up. The regular expression minimum match? Minimal matching? Non-greedy. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Oh, it is a question mark at the end. That's what my initial guess was, but I'm like, that's not right. Let's try that. That should fix the first problem and not the second one, which is that it's looping over and over and over and over again. Okay, so let's look at the rows again. Okay, that fixed the first problem. So we're getting the columns of the internal table rows, but we're not advancing. So there's some magic in how we use regex search that I need to learn here. Because it says you can use it in a loop, right? Looking for it. It may be called in a loop, restarting each time from M0 second of the previous. Oh, I see. So instead of passing the original string, I pass M0 second. But there's an iterator that makes it easier. On construction and on every increment, it calls searchx and remembers the result. The first object may be read when the iterator is constructed or when first dereferencing is done. Let's look at an example. Okay. Okay, the match itself, so you dereference the iterator to get the match. Okay, so let's do that. I kind of like that. And we'll have learned something today. So instead of a match, it is a sregex iterator. And we need to do it up here. sregex iterator. Matches, I guess. Oh. Do we want to make them? And I don't like constructing them and then calling the loop separately. What if, can't we build that in? Like, what if I do for, and then that, match, actually, oops. It would be auto, right? Auto match equals, so be, right, so you pass in, you do that and you pass in that. But no match, just a pattern. Like that, right? It didn't like it. It didn't like it. Huh. So I have to give it body.begin, body.end. Alright, fine. Then match not equal to, and then they just have it construct an empty one, right? Yeah. Just this empty. Okay, and then that's, okay, so you do something like this. Const auto, let's call this an it. I like it for iterator. Match equals star it, and then yeah. Let's see if that worked. Cool, it worked. So let's see it in action. I would do W, what is it? Stage, right? W stage and then W serve. Oh, I need to update our server's configuration file. This is not our server, this is my local one. We'll do it locally and then we'll do it live. We'll do it live. F it, we'll do it live. Echo plugin. It needs a space. Oh no, we need a module, so it's echo plugin module. And its configuration is an object which has a space in it. /echo. And then we need to enable it here. Echo plugin. Okay, now I can do wserve. And it's asking me if I'm okay with it opening up to the firewall. Yes. So it loaded our echo plugin. Let's go look at it. Oh my goodness. Alice, how did you get minus 7 points? That's 91. Back up to 0. Anyway, this is localhost 8080 echo. There we go. And there's no personal info here, is there? Nope. So that's what our... that didn't look quite right. I wanted it to just show value over here, not over here. Did I? Let me look at that in source. Actually, it'd be better just look at a debug, wouldn't it? Developer tools and then inspect element. Ah, look at that. I put an extra TR there by mistake. Okay, so stop the server. We'll go fix that now. Yeah, look at that. I have the wrong terminator there. There's a single character. Actually, let's make a test for that. Just show you a little bit more of test-driven development. So, since there was a bug, it deserves a bug fix, and debug fix deserves a test. So it will be proper headers table header row. So it doesn't matter what we send. We don't really care about these things. What I do care about is that we get this thing but with the fixed part. We expect true standard regex search. And it's the string first, so it's response.body. We expect that that matches the pattern, or yeah, basically that. And let's fix this. So head table, head row, head, and then that needs to be an H. So that pattern needs to be in the result. So we'll run the test and show that it's failing, and then we'll fix the bug. Right there. Run it, build, run it again, fixed. So stage and serve and reload. There we go. So here are the headers that Chrome is sending my web server. Host, connection keep alive, cache control, update insecure requests. Be nice if I could like make it wider. I think it's just auto sizing it depending on the values of things. So here's the part, Rally Monkey, if you're still there, where our server could be a little smarter about how it handles a mobile versus non-mobile. So when you get a string like that, you know, if it's not lying, you'll know that it's a PC running Windows 10. And this tells you that we're... Actually, it's weird. It's advertising that it's Mozilla, Chrome, and Safari. It's really not being that cooperative. It's saying that, hey, we're Mozilla, hey, but we're also Chrome and we're also Safari. So the way I understood it, you're really only supposed to report one of them. So that's probably the real thing that it should report. These, probably it's reporting that just to be compliant. So let's see what Firefox actually sends. So we'll go to, again, localhost 8080 echo. Firefox is just saying Mozilla 5.0 and then Windows, and then I think that is the internal engine Firefox. All right. So what else are we seeing? They both say what they basically expect in the form of they both expect or accept. They both accept HTML, XML, HTML, or XML. Oh, and they also can accept an image, a WebP image, an APing image. They accept gzip, deflate, or BR encoding. Firefox only accepts gzip and deflate. I'm wondering why it's sorted. Oh, right. We don't sort them. So this is the actual order in which the headers were given to the server. So Firefox is setting connection keep alive near the bottom of the header list, and Chrome is setting it first at the top. Okay, cool. So that's what we want to see. Let me deploy that now. To deploy it, we got to check it in first. So let me see. Whoop. Just making sure. Oh, I did change the server. Didn't? When did I change the server? Oh, to add the plugin. Yeah. It's very basic right now. Add echo plugin. Push that, and then I think on the top level I just added the configuration for it. Right. Right, and the deploy. Oh, let's update. Oh, I did update both. Okay, good. So, add configuration stage of echo plugin. And push that. Then I'll flip over to Linux here. I have my Linux box running. And we will go one directory up. I'll get pull. It's pulling back from GitHub. Hey there, not Zane. Yes, Linux. You should use Linux. Cmake dot to pull in the new config, and then build dot to build it. And let's just do a local test here. So I should be able to do lstage, lserve, and then flip over here. And instead of going to localhost, I go to my Linux box is Cheetah on my local network. There we go. So it's working. So let us control C that guy. And I'm going to deploy this now. So see if I got this right. I am going to ssh add AW my key, and then really just need to copy the files over, right? Just build web server echo plugin. I really just need that guy. So lcp lib echo plugin ec2 ec2 user. I can't remember. Okay, where was it? Search just Excalibur. EC2, is it dash user? It is dash user, okay. Dash user at, and then I need the host name that I'm currently at. Does the green font on my terminal window allow for your bike travel over the interwebs faster? That's a Jeff K joke, by the way. Everybody who's watching know Jeff K. It's very old internet humor. So if you just Google search for Jeff K. Something awful website. This is really old. He hasn't updated it in 13 years. But Rally Monkey and I know about Jeff K. All fun. All old fun and old jokes. Okay, I need to get the... Hold on. Hold on. Should have put this in my notebook, in my clipboard earlier. Jeff Dunham. No, Jeff K is, do you know somethingawful.com? That's like 20-year-old internet humor. Okay, here's the current site. And then need to go to, I just need to, actually just need to copy to the root, I think. Or not. Maybe not, hold on. Oh, plugins. Bling! It's like the path is actually home EC2 user plugins. Yes. Okay, it's copied. And do I see it over there? Okay, I do. I need to update the configuration file though. Okay, I can show that. Right? No, it's got my all the windows with AWS have like personal info, like my IP address on them. So just a second, let me type it in. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I will grab SCP runs in both directions, right? So I can grab the config file to here. Oh, actually, I want to go. I'll go up here. So we'll grab the file. It was config JSON, right? To dot. And then we'll edit it here. So open code. Close all the things. So, right. So I can look at it in version control. I can grab. How do I say put that back? I know what I can do. Instead of using VS Code, I can do get GUI. And I can say here, stage all the things, because I'm going to unstage things I don't want to change this. So don't change that. Don't change that. Don't change that. I need that change. And that. Okay, so then I control J on that guy. Revert. Oh, hold on. I messed that up. So grab it again. Because I need that too. It's the removal of this that I want to unstage. I gotta think about it in terms of that I want to put that back in. So unstage the removal. Same thing here. These go. So the only ones that I want to keep are the customizations. So right, it's putting on the real port 80 with this list and that path for chatter. Yes. Okay. Actually, let me bring code back up. We have an opportunity now to update the list of nicknames. So we like these nicknames, or should I add Gremlin in here? Let's add Gremlin in here. Gremlin's another user who was asking me about nicknames. So if he ever logs in, he could maybe use that. No one's using these, so I'm just going to remove them. So we have here the three test ones, and then the sort of the real ones of people who have been interested to play around. So we'll leave that in, and then we'll just SCP that back. Config.json back to the server. Now I gotta restart the server, unfortunately. Stop. Start. Okay. So it should be live now. If we go back to Chrome, Reload. Okay. Connect. If we now also go to rymu.com, echo. Oh, I misspelled it. There we go. So the echo is working. So now if you go to rymu.com/echo, you'll get back the headers that you put into the request. So that's this page. So there we go. We've deployed a new plugin to our server. Really simple plugin. So if you want to see what you're sending to my server, this tells you. So it also should match what we're seeing in the dev tools. So if I look at this in the headers, they should match. Here, so accept encoding, accept language. See, it's all there. Every single header that Chrome says we're sending is what the web server says. Yep, I got those exact same headers. Let me go back to my notes. So back to the log. So we're done with that, I guess. Let's move on to logging requests and responses. So by log, I do mean I want to have an actual log file. Because right now when I'm running the web server, I'm running in a screen where after a while I lose the recent history. So let's close everything. This will be in the server. So let me think about this. What does our server actually have in terms of configuration right now? It just pipe the output to a file. I could, but right now I can show you what. Hold on. Can I show this? No, because it has my IP address in it. Right now it's, well, actually what I can do is show you the local one, right? So it's got a lot of lines I don't really care about. I just want one line for every connection, really. Or every request. So kind of like a secondary, this is maybe the diagnostics. This would be like a non-diagnostic. It would be an actual log, like one row, one line would be for each request. I could build it into the diagnostics, I guess. And then, but they would have all these other diagnostics would also go into it. So yeah, actually that you're making me think I could build it into the diagnostics with a special keyword in front, and then I could, what is it? Grep. I could grep something like this. So I could say, oh, that's interesting. It's not quitting. This I saw before when I was like, I want to debug that if that ever happens. So let me do that. So this would be attach to process Excalibur, right? How come I don't see it? Is it web server, right? Web server. Attach. And then hit break. Ah. We're doing some unexpected debugging. Looks like we're held up trying to get the server's lock. Demobilizing the web server. So is there another thread running? Threads. Debug window threads. Threads goes down here. I like to put breakpoints there too. Threads. What are all my threads? Oh, here we go. I'm just trying to grok this. What's going on? So something has that locked. Thread ID 19388. This one has it locked for some reason. Oh, I see. What is this? Trying to lock. This is trying to lock the processing mutex, which is owned by 19620. This guy. He is stuck where? Oh, it's a deadlock. The deadlock between what is this? The broken delegate of a connection and the timer, which is doing what? Which is sending a request timeout. It's calling break on the connection. But it's doing this while holding the mutex in the timer thread. I think that's the problem. That'd be close, close, close. Procedure is graceful, but it needs to get the processing lock. Yeah. Okay, I think I see where the deadlock is. Yeah, so the server really before it tries to join its own timer thread, it needs to make sure all connections are closed. Let me handle this some other time. It's going to be a little bit of a complicated thing. Also, I need to take a few minute break. Let me log this down as a bug in the server. HTTP. So, fix bug. Deadlock during shutdown. Server holds a lock waiting for... Well, let's write this in the sequence. Server holds a lock waiting for timer thread to stop. Timer thread... Well, it's really that the server's trying to get the mutex, right? Yeah. Server attempts to grab its lock to notify timer to tell timer thread to stop. And that actually happens second, I believe. Timer thread holds server mutex and starts to... It's not that it starts, it's in the middle of doing it. It's waiting for the processor thread to stop. But it's doing so while holding the lock, I think. Yeah, that's bad. Timer thread holds server lock and is waiting for a connections processor thread to stop. Connections processor thread is down here. Wait a minute, who's holding? All right, this one is holding the lock. This one, processor thread, was this one. the thread is holding right. Connections processor is holding the processing mutex. The processing mutex and trying to grab the server mutex in the server's broken delegate in order to, what's it trying to do here? This one. In order to react to the connection being broken. Server thread attempts to grab its... hold on. Server... Not the server thread. Server's destructor. It doesn't hold any thread. It's just waiting. This is this one's a... Yeah. It's between these two. So really that doesn't matter. Timer thread holds server mutex waiting for connection. So this could happen at any time, really. Not just shutdown. Deadlock, race condition. It's a race condition. The timer thread holds the server mutex, waits for a connections processor thread to stop. Meanwhile, the connections process the thread, holding the processing mutex and trying to grab the server mutex, which the timer is holding on to. So yeah, the problem is the timer right now is doing this join of the thread while holding the mutex way up here. So it's in this break. Oh no, it's not waiting for it to join. It's trying to grab the music processing lock. So really it's this connections processor thread grabs the processing mutex. And then second thing happens, timer thread holds the server mutex and tries to grab a connections processor thread in order to queue a message. Is it just to queue a message to be sent? No, it's in order to close the connection. Connections processor thread is still holding processing mutex, tries to grab the server mutex. Okay, so yeah. I think I got the condition identified there. We'll fix it at some point later. Actually, not that much later, because this is a bad one. But I need to take a few minutes break. But where we were... Yeah, I'm going to just stop debugging that. Where we were... We're going to add the logging. So let me get back to that in a few minutes. Just taking a few minutes break, alright guys? Be right back. If I can remember how to do this. Be right back. I'm back and I just saw chat. No break music, shame. Oh, sorry, no break music. Unless you have a suggestion for something that won't be stricken with copyright stuff. Let's see. Yeah, so Outsane introduced an interesting idea, which is typing the output to a file instead of logging. So I was thinking we could print out what we want, all this information in a diagnostic message in such a way that we could as when we're teeing the output to a file. How does that work? We could tee it to grep, right? No, T? Sorry. How does T work? T goes to a file, right? I kind of want to show everything to the console, but then... Okay, let's look this up. Twitch does, well, no, it's when I export the video to YouTube, YouTube says that portions of your recording were copyrighted, and so it screws up the thing. So, yeah, Twitch just mutes part of the VOD, but YouTube will mark it as infringing copyright. Did I look into Jai? Yeah, I did. You're not gonna like what I had to say though. Where was that? That was from 41, right? So we looked at the Jai primer first, right? So the issues I was kind of getting hung up on were that, like, where is the compiler and is it free? Well, there is no compiler yet, right? He hasn't made one public. How does it interoperate with other languages? What kind of runtime baggage does it have? These ones weren't really an issue with Jai. But basically, there wasn't a compiler I could play with. So unless I want to really play around with a new language, I really can't afford to look at it unless it had a compiler right away, right? And so there are a bunch of statements in the primer that just sort of irritated me. And that was my overall feeling. Yeah, you could read through this. It's mostly a rant of mine. And I looked at a little bit of Jonathan Blow's video, but I only got like 35 minutes into it and I just couldn't stand it anymore. Sorry about that, but it was really annoying. He made a bunch of statements which I thought were just kind of either overly hand wavy or just outright false. So for some reason he doesn't like Unity, and he said that there's no serious games written in Unity. I'm like, well, I could think of 3 off the top of my head. Cuphead, Hearthstone, and City Skylines, all written in Unity and all, popular games. So I don't know. Anyway, one thing he said that I did agree with was if you're going to make a new language, don't reinvent the wheel completely. Use something like LLVM as the basis for your new language, which I had heard of before, and I totally agree with that. That does a lot of the heavy lifting, so to speak, where it allows you to kind of just focus on the new language constructs and not how like the nitty gritty details of the compiler actually need to handle. You can just do the high level stuff. And he seemed to like say basically the gist was that C++ has complicated things in it, therefore C++ is overcomplicated and we shouldn't use it. I'm like, that's like saying you have a toolbox with 20 tools in it and 2 of them are really complicated and expensive. Therefore, we should just not use any of our things in our toolbox. So I'm like, can't you use the other parts of the language which aren't overreaching and heavy? Just use the parts that work for you. So yeah, I really couldn't stand that video any more than like 30 minutes. So sorry about that. Yeah, I was gonna look up Unix T, right? Does that always go to a file? It reads standard input, writes input to standard output, and one or more files, but it just sends everything to the file, right? Yeah, I want something like, I want to duplicate standard standard output, or standard input really, to more than one place. Is there a version of that Unix duplicate standard input? I want to pipe it, but then duplicate the standard input to two different processes. T-pipe? Oh, here we go. How about this one? T and process substitution. Really? Let's look that up. So you have an interview with Naughty Dog today. What's Naughty Dog? Never heard of this. Oh, what you? I think we did look it up before, right? Ooh, game dev. Good luck with that. Ah, that's awesome. Don't be terrified. I'm sure it'll be fine. You can, if nothing else, you can just see it as a learning, as a life learning experience. You'll learn something about interviewing and gain experience in that, right? Every time you interview with a new place, you'll get more and more confident of your interviewing skills, I think, and you'll know what to expect. So you'll only be terrified now, but when you get through it, you'll be much better off. Okay, yeah, this doesn't really go into the detail I want. How about Linux T? T Linux manual page, that's what I want. Really doesn't go into a lot, does it? Well, I'm not sure how to do this right. Most documentation is poo, yeah. I suppose I'd be okay with making a copy of every line of this to an output file and then just grepping it later. Maybe we can start with that. So that makes the work a little bit simpler, because I don't need to do anything in the HTTP other than add the diagnostics that we want. Do that. We can start with that at least. So let's go to the unit tests for HTTP server. And let me collapse everything so I can see where I am. Okay. One of these. Client request in one piece, maybe? That's 404. Using T and grep to save certain... Oh, there we go. Look at that. T output file complete. Grep. Oh, yeah. Well, that's gonna write the complete thing to a file. That's not exactly what I want. This is what I was thinking about doing, was I would do this part, and then when I want to see the log later, I would do that on this file. Yeah, so this will work, but with the side effect that this out file complete will end up capturing everything, and using up disk space that you might not need. So, close. That's pretty good. Close, but not exactly what I want, but pretty good. Example of how to selectively view program output as it's running. That might be useful for other people and for me later. Okay, so this client request in one piece was for something we expect a 404 on. I want one where we get a 200 though. Okay, there's one with a 200. Delegate subspace, server wide, content length by server. I guess we'll just make a new test. What about his edit? Let me look. T. Yeah, it's this. Using this, I couldn't find that in the manual, right? Okay, so if I chop that part off, I guess, then it would be what I want. Let's try that. So, okay, this one never did exit correctly. So we'll do this. Oh, wait a minute. It's going to be on the Linux, right? We'll go to Linux. So this, where is it? Ah. L serve, right? And then the idea is that we want to do a T grep, I don't know, about get. To gets.text. Okay. Did that not run? Hold on. I don't know if it's running or not. Okay, here. I should just kept that window open here. Oh, it's not running. Quotes around get. Is that why? Probably why, right? Nope. Does this actually need... Is it because this is a shell? So what if I just run the... Instead of running it directly, I run it through a shell script, I run it directly. Build web server, config.json. Now see, it's not... Doesn't like it. If I do T, though, it'll probably work. Doesn't like it at all. Huh. Oh, it's on port. Okay. The problem is I'm dumb. So I forgot to revert that stuff. So it's got that stuff in it. So just reset hard. Try this one again. Okay, now. Huh. Oh, it's still yeah. It's running, but I wasn't getting any output. Okay, let me try without going through my script. How come T isn't printing anything? Am I not using T correctly? It's like T, I'm not using T correctly. Okay, what's wrong with this? That should just work. But it's like not printing anything. Not printing anything and not writing anything to the output file. Oh, I wonder if it's because it's buffered. So if I hit this enough times. Yeah, that's what it is. So we have output buffering going on. To turn off output buffering to see this correctly. Yeah, the problem is I'm probably writing it out to standard output without turning off buffering. So let's turn off the buffering. See what happens. That would be in web server, right? In main.cpp here. Actually, it's this diagnostic stream reporter. No, it's not. It's that we're just using standard out as it is. But if I do set buff, I think it's set buff standard out null. Ignore the return value. I think then gets us what we want. Yeah, so there now it's working. Now it's unbuffered. So now we can maybe go back to what we had before. Let's just try this. We'll be brave. And then control C. Oh, look at that. It even highlights it in red. Some of them at least. Actually, is it giving us 2 lines for every? Yeah, it is, isn't it? The gets.txt is getting everything. So is the idea that we could just get rid of that? Hold on. Let me remove it first. We can do that. Yeah, right. So that's the output of grep. So if I wanted to, right. So that would go to gets.txt, right? And if I do that a few times, then cat gets.txt, there we go. So we're on the right track there. So the complete command goes inside the parentheses. That'll work. Thank you very much, Not Dane. That works out really well. Put that in my notebook. So to T to another process, use syntax like this. Program T grep get gets.txt like that. Keep that in my notebook. Probably make another page for that. So we'll use that. So let's just start a new test. Server tests. Good request log message. Or we're calling it diagnostic message. Huzzah, yes. Hold on, I want to collapse everything and just look at my fixture. Okay, so we need to have some kind of dummy registered resource. I think we'll just steal from here. Okay, we don't need this. Well, actually, we need the request, don't we? Need these two. And put them like that. And then auto that. Set up. No. Set up server. This really belongs down here, doesn't it? Register a delegate to handle register a mock resource delegate. That's all I really want to say. And then here we'll say issue a good request. Okay, I'm looking for the diagnostic stuff. I don't like typing stuff I can just copy paste. This kind of stuff. Copy paste this kind of stuff. We'll clear the diagnostic messages before the data is received. Actually, let's separate this out. So we will start a new mock connection. Issue a good request. And then this is what it currently is. Actually, you know what we'll do is we'll remove this from any other tests. This test will be exclusively what we expect for diagnostic messages. So it's what foo bar. So let's see what we want to see. Time. We're not seeing the time. Oh, actually, in the real server, we do see the time. We already see the time, so that's taken care of. IP address. Okay, we don't see the IP address. Or do we? Okay, we do see the IP address. Target URN. Okay, the response status, that's not on the same line right now. So let's trim this down again. We'll just say get that from that, and then we'll have it say 200. I also want the content lengths and types. So let's put in a body. So for a get, it'll have no body. So 0. Then what we expect back is text.html of what? We need to put something in there. Body equals hello world. Hello. Response.headers dot set header content type is text plain, I guess. So we expect text plain. 6 characters. Okay, now next. Issue, we'll do an issue, a good put request. How about that? Or how about post? And then we'll have PogChamp. So we have to say content type text plain, content length. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this will be a post to spam. And then it'll be text plain. How many characters? 8 characters. And we'll say it's a 200. Yeah, sure, why not? Then I don't have to change the mock resource delegate. And we'll do a another good one. Let's just break this up. Good get request with two registered resource. This is a good request to an unregistered resource. That'll go to nowhere. And what we expect is we say get / nowhere with no body is a 404. What does the server print out for a 404 actually? Feels bad, man. Okay. I forgot I did that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it's a 13 character long text plain output. Okay. That's good. Let's set that up. So that's HTTP. Oh, not good. Yeah. So it's not const because we're making new ones. So request up here. Where was it? That's the first definition. Okay, we have multiple clients and responses. Here's another request here. It can't be a const. That's what it is. Why not? How about if I just do auto that? Oh, is it? Okay, do I have this more than one place? I do. That's the problem. There we go. Okay, so HTTP test debug. And then we can filter it to diagnostic. All right. That's what we're getting now. Let us change it to what we want to see. On here. It's right now it's 2 messages. I think issue responds is printing the other one. Yeah, there it is. Issue response is in more than one place though. There's also for request timeout, we're printing one. Okay, I think I know what I want to do. Let's refactor this a little bit. So, if we push it into the if and the else like this, then maybe parameterize this. So bool emit diagnostic message. And then do that here. This flag indicates whether... Actually, you know what? I'm not... Well, let me think. Yeah, okay. This flag indicates whether or not to publish a diagnostic message about this response being issued. There we want true. This is unsolicited. Here, actually, I think I'm going to move it back out. And in either case, do not make one. And then move this out, I guess. Right. Oh, hold on. This is if it's a valid request. So just move this down a little bit. Probably to where we push it, right? Actually, we can just do it here. This is where it's an invalid one, which we don't have a test for yet. Yeah, so we're just going to change this to match our test. Get and then the target, and then in parentheses, oh, is it from? In parentheses, one of two things. From that, and then status code back out again. So that's what? unsigned integer. Unsigned integer. And then another thing out. Right, so method, target, and then it's if the request has a body. Or if it has a content type. So request headers has header content type. I'm just thinking, does it always have a content length? I guess if it didn't, it would be a bad message, right? So if it has a content type, it's gonna print the content type and then the size. So that's ZU, I think. Request headers get header value content type as a C string, and then request body dot size length. Right. That is a C string. Otherwise, it's just going to be the content length if there is one. So that. And then the same thing at the end. Oh, well, two things. Response status code, and then this thing where it's response dot headers has content type. Like this. Kind of a long diagnostic message, isn't it? Okay, getting there. All right, because /foo is the name of the resource space, so our test did not expect to see that here. Actually, no, we want to see that. I'm printing the wrong thing. Where's that request target setup? Ah, is this original? Is this request target updated? Yeah, this path has changed. So we kind of want the original. Yeah. So what are we doing to get that generate string? So let's cache it up here. Original target as string. Just so we can print it down here. There we go. Okay. So let's make one for a bad one. Issue a really bad request diagnostic message. Set up server, set up, well, we don't need a mock delegate. New connection. So so we need to make something that looks bad. We had a whole bunch of these, didn't we? Actually, can we just build that into all the diagnostic messages we had before? I don't know. trying to remember, how did we configure? Oh, configuration, and that's right. What I want to do is I want to set a configuration item called, because we have n bytes, so bad request report bytes. Let's report the first, I don't know, 10 bytes. And let's make a bad request. Bad. Something like PogChamp. This is a bad request. Something like that. Issue a bad request. So, what do we want to see? Something like bad request from client, and then let's build in actually some control characters in here. Like, if I do that, then I can build in well, I need to know the actual size of the string. Column 10 to 47, that's 37 characters, 38, 39. And we'll add a 40th one there. That what I expect? That's where I want to build in a null character in there. I just need to make, whoops. That means I just need to make sure that that's the right constructor to standard string. Yeah, it's this one I want. Number 4. S can contain null characters. That's exactly what I want. So, because what I want to see back, 10 characters, 1, 2, 3, and then not actually print the null, but print like %, 0, 0. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I kind of want it to be % encoded. We have that % encoding stuff, I think, right? Was it in, where was it? Where do we do the % encoded stuff? Is that, maybe that was in request. I can't even remember. First, let's look up %. Okay, it was in URI. Maybe we don't want % encoded stuff. I know, I'll just have it, I'll have it dump it out like this. We'll just have to be careful when we print it. Alright, so let's do it. In the server. It's down here, right? So instead of, so we'll still have a diagnostic message. Here. It'll just say bad request from that. And then we'll print a string, but it'll be a specially formatted string. it'll be request extract. So let's make this a stream builder. So string builder, I mean. String string stream. And I need to handle the configuration for this. It was this guy. So we want an int. Like this guy. New bad request report bytes. Bad request report bytes change from something to something. All right, so we'll put it here. Default bad request report bytes. This is the default number of bytes of every bad request to be reported through the diagnostic reported in diagnostic messages. All right. We're going to use that now. Add request. Right here. So for I equals 0 to either the minimum of that and this request size. Try request assembly actually consumes bytes, doesn't it? Maybe what we want to do is keep a copy somewhere. Because this pulls it into that request thing and we don't see it anymore. Yeah, so maybe next to this reassembly buffer we'll put in... Actually, we can just put the string builder there, right? So request extract. This buffer... This holds the beginning of the current request used to report the bytes received for a bad request. So it's just wherever we put it into the reassembly buffer, we'll do it here. So we'll say while a connection actually, you know, instead of making that a string stream, I'll make it a vector of bytes. And actually, whenever we make one of these connection states, we'll just initialize it to be whatever, yeah, right here. We'll say whatever the limit is. connection state. Request extract resize or reserve. Actually, we don't need to reserve it. So while the size, actually that doesn't need a while. If the size is less than the bad request report bytes. So we're going to, okay, connection, this thing, insert into its end. That to that plus the minimum of data dot size and this minus however many bytes are already captured. It didn't, oh, B. There we go. It didn't like it. Size T, size T. What is it? Oh, we don't have algorithm included. All right. So we'll only capture like the first, I don't know, 10 bytes in this example. What did I set it to? Did I not initialize it correctly? Oh, interesting. It doesn't give me a red squiggly for that. Wait a minute, didn't I add that? So where is it? Oh, is it in two different places? Hold on, something's not quite right. Oh, that, okay, it's not that this is the default. This is the number of it, and then there's a default. So copy all this stuff. Go up here, put it up here. This is the default, and then we set it to some reasonable default. How many bytes do I really care about seeing for bad requests? Maybe just the first 100. Okay. What we need to do is after every request, we want to clear this out, except for if a request spans. This is going to be interesting. So, I guess we can reinitialize it with what's left in the reassembly buffer at the end of a request, right? Yeah, let's do that. So at the end, I need to terminate this second. At the end here, we will assign it to be whatever is left in the fragment assembly buffer. Actually, only if it's empty, we clear the other one. So if it's empty, then this is also needs to be cleared. Otherwise, assign to it this plus the minimum of however much it has in it. and the bad request report bytes. And that should be indented like that. All right, so request extract string builder. So we don't have to have this loop. We can just say for auto ch in this request extract. If ch is less than or equal to 20 hex, or ch is greater than 7e. I'm not even going to really care about handling non-ASCII characters. I can reassemble it later offline if I need to. I just don't want to print them to the output. I don't want to print null characters or beeps or whatever. So instead, we will output that followed by, how do you do this? X. If I do this somewhere else in my code, I'll copy from there. I can never really, oh, here we go. X set fill 0. Set width 2. Yeah, so we do. I think we can do this at the beginning. That needs IO manip, I think. LMNO. Yep, and then set fill 2. And then we're going to convert it, just like this works, into an int, yes. Int, well really, unsigned int. Oh, it already is unsigned, isn't it? So we don't need to worry about it, the sign getting clobbered. So we just say int ch. Right. Okay. Let's try that out. Oh, I forgot to say that part. Okay, it's 2:30. I got another half an hour or so. Okay, didn't print it. Why didn't it print it? I messed that up somehow. This part is extraneous. Oh, this is wrong anyway. It's supposed to be that. Okay, we're not getting anything. We should see that. So when we get to here, let's see what's going on. Okay. We go to here. Really? Okay, that shouldn't have happened. That should have been seen as a bad request. Let's try it again. 'Cause that looks like a bad request to me. Reassembly buffer's got POG in it. And then I wonder if it's getting tripped up. Let's see. It accepted 40 characters. Next request is not valid. Bad request. Okay, so what's going on? Oh, is it okay, it's supposed to do that. Never mind. Wait a minute. That is not right. Hmm. Try that. Yeah, okay. Something's not right about this. Right, so parse request line. Is a bad request. So it's not a valid request. Ooh. Actually, why did it go into here? Oh, I think it's because we're still being optimistic that we can find an end of the message. The headers are incomplete. Yeah, okay, so it's waiting for more data. The test isn't constructed correctly. We need to make it look for sure like it's the... That's one way to do it. Another way would be to make it like 10,000 characters long. And hit one of these error states, right? Anyway. Try this one out instead. Okay, getting there. Okay. Or is the code where we do that? It's here. Ah, I guess it's hit multiple times. I need to put that off to the side. Oh, actually, I'm just going to hit stop. I only want to run it for that test. Then go to here. Okay, so 10 characters, POG 0. Okay. Oh, it's not printing the printable characters. Else we just shift in the character as a character. Okay, that's what it was. Almost. It's not doing the width 2 correctly though. Oh, because I didn't do it. Did I not do that in SHA-1 either? No, I did it there. I just forgot. Oh, I put the wrong thing here. I put the fill, not the width. Okay, there we go. And then I want to make those two messages something that are easy to grep for. So, let's see, where are my deep breakpoints? Okay, no breakpoints. Good. Let's put in a token here that's easy to grep on. How about request? And we'll put it in both. So first, see that it breaks the tests. Then fix it so it doesn't break the tests. Huh? That got saved? Oh, that was my bad. That check is in multiple places here. And here. Yep. Cool. All right. Let's check that in. Mugget status, please. Right, so it's only in our the core of our web server, so we're not doing anything special with files or anything. We're just changing the diagnostic messages we print for bad messages. Okay, so what are we going to say? Print specific, this is server. Print specific diagnostic messages for all requests. For good requests, print a couple different things, right? Print method, target, content type, and well, it's client connection, and content type and length for both request and response. For bad requests, print connection and first n bytes of request. Yeah, okay, there we go. I'm going a bit slower today than I thought I would. We're done with this part of the plan. And I had all this, had my hopes up to do all this stuff today, but I'm not going to have time. I have 15 minutes roughly to go until 3 o'clock my time. Let me think. You want to try to tackle this? I suppose, although it's going to take me a while to write the test for it. Yeah, let's see how far we get into it. By the way, is the room still going? Oh my goodness, Bob has 257 points? Jeez. I have not been paying attention. All right, Bob, whoever you are. Ready to go? Ah. Wait a minute. Has someone written a script to auto-answer really quickly? Someone trying to be smart here? Someone's overly smart? I can't compete with a bot. Oh, look at that. It's just set up to what, spit out. Someone's being really smart. Well, congratulations, Bob, whoever you are. You have broken my bot. I guess you ran this through some kind of script to generate the answer for you, and then you just post it immediately. Are you going to reveal yourself, Bob? If not, that's fine too. I commend you for automating your own bot to answer my bot. Okay. Now I gotta think about how am I going to compete with that? How do I prevent it from being botted? It's not Zane. Let's take a look. All right. Really, that wasn't that much code, was it? Eval? Yeah. That's why whenever I typed a message, it was auto responding, right? Yeah. Cool. Bonus points to you for automating it. Now it's like a challenge for me to make it so that it can't be automated. Good job. So it's these bad guys I want to detect and block. Okay, so let's come up with a test for this. Where's my Visual Studio? Okay, there it is. New test. Okay, so a couple use cases. Let's have one that's just blacklisted indefinitely by just sending trash in. So we want to test that the period gets doubled every time they go into probation. Actually, let's just detect the first one. They get blacklisted and then we just close their connections. So we'll call these ones blacklist. We'll build it up. So bad request results in ban. We'll call it a ban for short. So set up the server. We don't need to know that. Start a new connection, right? Issue a bad request. We don't really care about the response. We'll close the connection right away after this point. Actually, we can release it at this point, even. We'll start a second mock connection. Issue another bad request. Actually, we'll just repeat the same bad request. And we don't care about the diagnostic messages, do we? Let me think about this. Where is connection broken? Is it broken right away? I think it is in this issue response. Yeah, it's broken right away. Actually, it's broken. We want an abrupt close. So, yeah. Where's my broken delegate? It's this mock connection thing, right? So let's keep this, actually instead of nulling it out, we'll keep it around. It's this mock connection thing. Right, we have a broken delegate. That's when we want to break it, but what do we get when we get called? Oh, it's here, break. So, okay, we have this clean. Broken gracefully equals clean. We'll add this here. This flag indicates whether not the remote peer broke the connection. Remote peer broke the connection gracefully. I have such a way with words, not. So the first bad request, I think we're expecting a close, but yeah, okay, we're not just expecting a close, we're expecting a real response. So let's expect it. We should get a real response here. Actually, why am I even bothering to do this in this test? It should go up here. So, expect we do get a response, but it's a 400. Actually, this only returns a response if it's valid, correct? Yeah. So we should first assert false that response equals null. What's the post? Didn't work? What did you get? Oh yeah, you can't post to the chat because it only works with an upgraded connection. You get the same as if you did this. You get try again, but next time use a WebSocket. That plugin only accepts the connection if it's an immediate upgrade to WebSocket. Did you get this message? You should have. Let me test it myself. Okay, where my window be? There it is. Based. Yeah, see, try again, but next time use a WebSocket. Okay, thanks, bye. Yep. If you could figure out how to make the web server crash, though, like the unknown probing or hacking that was done over the weekend, let me know. Because I still don't know what's up with that. It's not the race condition I found today. A race condition would have caused the server to just get hung, just to stop responding. They managed to crash it somehow. All right, so we're gonna expect we get a response for the first one, and then it's a 400. I guess what we'll do is try again on the, well, hold on. We'll also expect true broken. That would be connection broken, wouldn't it? But expect false. No, again true. Broken we expect a graceful disconnection first, but then the second time we should be banned. So here we will try to get one, and we will assert, we'll expect expect true. And then expect false, that it's graceful. Flooding? Yeah, that's not what my log showed, or the standard output of the server. It showed that they were like pinging it every 30 seconds or something like that, and it just kind of stopped. And I was looking at the traffic, and it was more than usual, so I think they were hitting it a lot, but it wasn't like extraordinary. They weren't flooding it. I should try a flood test on my own stuff. I have to think about how I could do that. I guess another program actively flooding it, right? I don't want to do that on stream though, because it could be used for evil, and I only use my powers for good. I don't want someone to get my code and use it for evil purposes. I think it's technically illegal to make something, or to at least to use something that floods other web servers, right? I could do that off stream, maybe. Maybe I'll write such a thing to test my own stuff. So I try flooding my own server locally. Off stream, obviously, because otherwise it could be used for evil purposes. To basically to load, test, and, well, more plain English, to make sure the server is resilient to attacks. Yeah, I'm not going to do that on stream though. Definitely want to steer clear of that. Okay, issue another bad request. Yes, so this will fail because we're not banning anyone right now. So this was called ban. Oh, should I be looking what you're doing now? Wait a minute, how did you disconnect? You disconnected and lost your 200 and something points? Oh, are you spamming? Let me see. On my end. Where is that window? I don't see you posting spamming, but maybe you stopped. I'll watch it in the background. Oh, the connection is not broken. Interesting. It should have been. 1975? It should have gotten broken. Okay, now I see someone hitting it. No, not being. It's just someone refreshed the page. All right. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. Go. Bad request. Headers. Should have connection close in it. It doesn't. We're not closing the connection on a bad request. We should be. Oh, yeah. We're not closing the connection on a bad request. Okay, that's one check. Wonder if that's just asking for a probe to continue trying. So basically, if it's getting a bad request, it just sends a bad request response, and then but it keeps otherwise keeps the connection open. Where do we? Is it in issue response? Maybe we close it. Yeah, it's in this connection close. I think we just want to make a policy decision here. We can say if response.status is 400, then close request equals true. We don't even bother to look at the connection. And we're going to do an immediate close. Let's make it formal here. So abrupt close. And we'll say abrupt close is true. And break is what? Let's say graceful. Make it match. And this will be a true, well, let me think about this. Default to true, and then set it false here. No, default it to false, and set it to true here. Yeah, here. And put that there. Okay. Yes, I want to stop debugging. Okay, rebuild that guy. So basically, whenever we issue any kind of response, if it's a 400 bad request, we're going to always close and not gracefully. Or wait a minute. We wanted to close gracefully the first time, didn't we? Yeah, okay. So if we get to this, we always want to close gracefully. So this goes back to being true. All right. The thing is, if it's a band, we're never even going to get here because we don't even want to talk to them. Correct. Cool. So got to 1976. Oh, it wasn't broken gracefully. It should have been. Is that flag not set? Really? Okay. Let's see that. So in action. And then where that's set, put a breakpoint there. Hold on, the main. Interesting. Why does it think it's there? Huh. Oh, I did it in the wrong place. Start over again. And don't need that yet. Now put it back there. Where? Up here. Right there. Go. It is still. Oh, does it get called twice? I think it gets called twice. Yeah, it gets called twice. Oh, hold on. I see a problem here. I lost it. $163. Go. Yeah. We're sending the response, but we're not waiting for the client to actually get the data. We're closing our end. We shouldn't be doing this, actually. Yeah, this is a bug in the server. I'm surprised our test didn't catch it, though. Maybe I don't have any tests for this. These, though, should get it, right? Oh, it's not waiting for... It's not detecting graceful. Yeah, these tests never did, right? Okay, well, we'll just fix it. We'll make it part of that test anyway. Or should we do... No, there should be a test for close requested. Only for these invalid ones. Ah, okay. Okay. We'll build it into those places. We'll say broken gracefully. And then that will break those tests, correct? Yeah, it breaks a bunch of tests. So I think we fix it by just doing this. Although, is that message sent anywhere else? Yeah, I think this should just be false. Because we don't want to close our end. Well, we do. We want to close it, but... okay, so I actually need another parameter. Okay, I'm going to make it an enum then. There are 3 conditions we're going to do. Close behavior. This indicates how the server should handle the closing its end of the connection. So we need to define this. Right, so This is in the implementation, so I can put it in the anonymous namespace. Right here would be fine. Enum class. Okay, so 3 kinds of behaviors. It will be close gracefully, close abruptly, do not close. Okay. This is used to indicate how the server's end a connection should be closed. How to handle the server's end of a connection. And I'll rename this. This will be server connection end handling. Okay. So if that is not equal to do not close, then we break the connection. Actually, it's going to be a switch, isn't it? If it's do not close, the interview went meh? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, it might sound like meh, but they might have had a much different experience than you. They might be like, that guy was pretty good. Interview questions, when I was an interviewer, I would like to ask questions that the candidate couldn't answer very well. Like, if they could answer everything, that tells me less than if they could answer maybe 80%. Then I know like where their limit is. And it was hardly ever a case where they had to answer everything. It was more like I set things up so that if they answer more than half my questions well, they're in. And they'd answer maybe 80%, and I'd be like, that guy's pretty good. So let's hope that that's the case. They gave you some really hard questions. Like 3 of them you're not really expected to get right, but if you did, you'd be like way above and beyond. Binary search tree. Yeah. Not everybody does understand that, and not everyone needs to understand that stuff either. They might just be interested to see how much you already knew, and that not expecting you to know everything about it. Okay, so do not close. We don't need any kind of handling. I want these cases though. Then questions aren't about answering, it's about how you approach the problem. Yeah. That's exactly what I would try to do as an interviewer. To make questions that are like almost open-ended ones are better. Because then you see like how do they react to the problem? Do they are they totally put off guard, or they have some idea and they try to answer it, or do they say, I don't really know how to answer that, sorry. Okay, this logic is essentially what I wanted here. Gracefully though, we do a true and we don't do anything else, because we keep it open so that they can read the rest of the response. And for do not close, we do nothing. That's what I really want. And then we'll have this in 3 places, right? So this is server connection handling, close gracefully. And here, they close their end. So we can just close abruptly. Actually, it doesn't really matter, does it? Huh. Now that I think about it. The peer end closed their end. We don't really care. He blanked out when he asked about how to calculate a normal. It's the, well, depends on the question, right? The normal is the cross product of the basis vectors. or basic of the plane at the point where you're calculating the normal, right? Knew what a cross product was? I'm actually thinking I went overboard in this because I'm only going to have I'm not going to have a do not close. So, shoot, I don't need to do any of this junk. I guess I could just keep it. It's better than having a flag. We're going to close abruptly in every case. In both these cases, I don't need a do not close. Yeah, we'll just keep it not a boolean just to make it nicer looking. You know what? Interviewers always expect interviewees to be nervous. In fact, that's one thing as an interviewer I always hated. I hated how nervous the interviewee was, and I always tried to like break the ice to get past their nervousness, because the nervousness is like a human emotion thing that you want to get past. You want to get to their logical side and problem solving side, and you don't want the nerves to get in the way. Huh, I broke a bunch of my tests. Let's take a look. Invalid request recoverable in line 2. Do we have a recoverable invalid request? Maybe maybe that broke because I decided it by policy make none of them recoverable. That will be an easy thing to change. Just remove the test. Client invalid request recoverable. What's the invalid request? The host doesn't match? I don't see it. Oh, it's the missing colon there. Yeah, I think this is not a valid test anymore because by policy we're saying they get thrown overboard. So this is just invalid request of any kind. You get to walk the plank if it's not a valid request. Okay, so we're down to host not matching server URI. That's probably a case of it. The original test thought you could recover from it. Host not matching server URI. Oh. Yeah. So that should match. This should be part of this now. Other way. So if it's a 400 request, then we expect the connection to be broken. Okay. Request timeout. So 1496. Oh, I'm over time. So I'm not going to get through this entire plan. Definitely not. I'm not even going to get really into the blacklisting. So I'll just finish up what I'm doing and then do an overview. But we'll make this the subject of the next stream, which will be Wednesday. Tomorrow I have an appointment. So let's see. This failed down here. Oh, data received was not empty. What did we receive? I want to see. We received something back. Request timeout. Connection close. Wait a minute, it got a second request timeout? Really? So it did send us something. Why did it do that? Because the connection should be broken. Yeah. Why did it send it a second time? Let's see. So I get down to here. Actually, right here is better, probably better. So we received the first message. Let's put a breakpoint where we receive the data again. Here. Go. Okay, let's see. How did we get issued a response? Oh. It timed out again. Okay, so this is, yeah. We only wanted to send the response once. And then stop trying to send it again. So we need something in this connection state to see if a response has been sent. No, basically if a request is being listened to. Request in progress. This is it. No, that's not it. We need a second flag, I believe. We need a special one for final. No, broken, right? Closed. We already have one. Okay, so let's just use that. In fact, we will skip it if connections state closed, then continue. Skip it if it's closed, right? Okay, so now we're just down to the diagnostic message. Okay, there are two because it does get closed immediately. So we need to expect that. Breakpoints clear all these guys. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna actually get two messages. And it's a to connection to mock client. Closed by server, yeah. Right. Oh, yeah, we're in both places. We get a close. Actually, no, not in both places. The first one. Hold on. Reading diagnostic messages in 1890. Oh, that's still not right. What did I get wrong here? Oh, no request thing in front. That's what I got wrong. Okay. 90. I think this is the ban stuff. Yeah, what happens on the second request. So right now it's not being banned. So, how are we going to ban them? By IP address, right? Thinking, do I want to go overtime? I have a hard stop at 4. I need to wrap up. Let me think about this. I guess we can permanently ban them for now, and not. We can have a permanent blacklist for now. That'll be more strict than it needs to be, but it might be a good thing to do for now. So a permanent ban list. So that would go in the server, right? Server ban hammer. That's right. Where's the server? Here it is. So right, current connections. So maybe around here. These are the IP addresses of clients that have been banned from this server. Okay, and the address, it's the client ID, right? You get peer ID. Yeah, so it's by string. Hold on. We need something more general, actually. This is going to be the IP address and the port number. But we need to ban all the IP address, so we need something more. We'll still make it a string. Banned. These are it's not IP addresses either, it's peer ID. Okay, these are the names of peers that have been banned from the server. Banned peers. So we'll introduce just a peer identifier, and then there's a peer. One with just a name, and one with, okay, how about connection? Really, we're banning the whole space of peers, the address. Peer address, really. This returns a string which identifies the network address of the endpoint hosting the peer of this connection. And it's not unique either. It identifies the network address. That. Oh, in front of that. Network address. Yep. All right, so wherever we have this get ID, we'll need a get address as well. So let's search for this in a decent number of places. So this is the address to report for the peer. Yeah, okay. Probably be copying that in a couple other places, right? Here. Oh, there it's hard coded. Okay. The 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, 5, 5, 5, or something. I'll have to go wherever mock client shows up and do a fix up for that. Find all of that. Ah, so this takes more. I didn't even document it, did I? Just repeat that with a 555 or something in front. And then the peer of the client. Server end. It'd be like the address of the server. Well, no, they're both ephemeral, right? Something like that. Okay, yeah, I'm getting reminded that I need to have a hard stop. I think all of these places were putting in the port number, so to speak. Okay. Right, so for this one, it's just the address. So minus that part. Oh, we can build in a test for this here. Get peer address should just be that. Actually, just that. Okay. Build that. So I'm not using the band list yet. I just want to make sure I didn't break anything building that there. And I broke stuff, so let's see what it did. Oh, that should be address. Okay, it's one of those STL things. Sometimes hard to trace these down. There we go. So it's this thing. It needs two of them. Is this gonna be repeated? No, it's only one place. Okay. Okay, so that didn't break anything else. Banned peers. So I think what we want to do is we ban them if it's 400, right? So yeah, we have access to the banned user. So banned peers dot insert connection state get connection get peer address. So we ban them right there. And then what we do, I think, is when there's a new connection, we'll ban that. We'll just close it immediately if they've been banned. So auto will const auto banned peer entry equals banned peers dot find connection get peer address if banned peers entry is not equal to banned peers end. So if it's banned, then we will say new connection from that band. And then we simply say break, not clean, and then return. That should do it. Oh, we have to return a value. Doesn't matter if it's ready or not, does it? So, oh yeah, null pointer. We don't care. That was only used to test race conditions in the transport layer. Ooh, bad function call. Let's find out where that happened. Okay, I'm not breaking on exceptions. Debug Windows, exception settings, C++ exceptions, go. Okay, the data received delegate's empty for some reason. Oh. It never even, yeah, that's what we want. It was never even allowed to even send anything. So we should just expect that. Expect true connection data received delegate is null pointer. There is no response. The connection's broken immediately. Yeah, there we go. Cool. I'm just stopping to think. Is it bad? Is that bad that we don't set a delegate? What does it do in the real world for a new connection? Let me think. That would be in this class. New connection. It wires it up. Oh, yeah. So there's a check already. So it'll just ignore any data that might be sent while we're still in the process of destroying it. Yeah, we basically ignore them. They don't take any resources. So there's a little final check. Let me make sure I didn't break anything. If it did, though, I'll probably have to defer to the next stream on Wednesday. Although I think we're in good shape. We're passing. Oh, no, we failed something. Just out of curiosity, what did I fail in the chat room? That would be web server is it chat room? Debug chat room plugin tests? Yeah. Oh, okay. I think it's just a diagnostic message changed. Yeah, we can fix that really quick. 780? Yeah, I just had that built in. It didn't print the it didn't expect a port number before. Now it will expect one. Okay. I think we're in good shape. So now it'll at least ban the IP address after the first bad request, which should keep it's very draconian. It should keep them away from my server after the first bad request. So not quite done. I'll wrap up now because I'm running out of time. So I got through this part. Made an echo plugin for the server, which looks like this. So now if you go to we already have it on rymu.com, don't we? rymu.com/echo. You get back the headers in the request your browser sends. So I put that in there just as a little diagnostic tool, just to see, I guess, when I handle cookies and stuff later, I can see it really easily and not have to go to the developer tools. And just to write something different for a change. And then after that, I got into logging requests and responses now, so I can set up a T similar to this. Actually, I'm going to turn that into request. So I'm going to set up a T like that to actually grab a log of all the requests that my server is handling. And so I don't, so I get a complete log. And then I started working on this blacklisting feature. So we changed the behavior of the server now so that if there's a bad request, it will immediately, not immediately, it will first give them a 400 bad request response and then gracefully close. And we're going to implement this temporary blacklisting period, but for now, I'm just making it permanently blacklisted. Well, not permanent, but for as long as the server continues to run, it will just drop immediately any connections coming in from any IP address that generated a bad request. So next time I stream, I'll probably implement this temporary blacklisting where we ignore their connections for a while, but then after some period of time, we put them on probation and allow connections. And if we get another bad request, we blacklist them again, but double the amount of time. And also, in addition to bad requests, we want to kind of block the too many requests. So if the requests are good, but there's like so frequent that's overwhelming the server, we want to also blacklist them. So we'll implement that next time. And then probably 2 streams from now, we'll get to this stuff. So improvements to the chat room, improvements to the static content plugin. And after that, 3 or 4 more streams, maybe next week, we'll be doing the transport layer security stuff. So I need to look back into that. I'm looking at using, where is it? Libra SSL. So I'm looking into using that. So we'll be doing that, and then after that, try to integrate this stuff into Twitch. So that's it for now. Got a lot of good ideas this time. In fact, didn't even know about this usage of T before. That's good to learn. And we'll see if we can host someone else. Not sure who's streaming right now. All right. Well, my favorite hitchhiker from Canada is streaming right now. Maybe we can host him. If you haven't seen him before, he's from Canada and he's hitchhiking around all 50 states, and I think he finally made it to the last state of Hawaii. So we'll go host him. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on Wednesday, not tomorrow because I have an appointment tomorrow. So see you guys Wednesday.